Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Educational Gamer and we are playing Command, trying to figure out if the aircraft carrier will survive as a weapon system into the 21st century. Right, we are over here. We just shot down two enemy F-16s and we were actually successful in launching by HMS Ambush, so submarine over here, which has launched a couple of Tomahawks and already actually hit one of our mission targets, a bridge over here. And one of the radar installations that were quite difficult for us to gauge. Right. In the meantime, we have launched a couple of more missiles. You can see them flying around over here. Most of them are Tomahawk missiles that are targeting various different radar installations over here. The one item in the naval base, I think it was a refinery. That's these guys. We also have a couple of flights in the air, specifically the F-35s over here. And last time I was a little bit reluctant about closing in with these guys to all of these ships. And you know what? We are going to change the map system over here just so that it doesn't show the radar installations, contacts, emissions, selected contact. That should be enough, right? So that's a lot cleaner. We do see that there are three enemy ships over here. These symbols, there are three enemy ships over here. One of them is being targeted by this Sizzler weapon over here. I really don't think it's going to hit anything, or it's going to be intercepted rather before it can hit anything, but we're going to have to see about that. Now, with the F-35s, what I want to do this time is we are going to try and run these guys around and back into the underbelly of the enemy over there. So I don't want to get too close to these ships because obviously they are emitting. The F-35s are technically within radar range, but of course it's a stealth aircraft, so maybe that's not quite as relevant over here. So we're trying to get these guys over there. That should allow us to then get over here and have a look at some of these aircraft. So for example, the Turbine Island over here, the F-27-2000 over here, which is a large aircraft. It's a patrol aircraft with a lot of radar installations, no weapons really. It's probably based on what turboprop engine, so it's very slow, very decent plane, and it's a force multiplier, so it allows the enemy to really go ahead, target a lot of things without necessarily being a threat on its own. So I think that is a role where the F-35 might actually excel in. Just bypass enemy air defenses, get deep into enemy airspace and shoot down their force multipliers, while not even engaging on the F-16s. Last time we did see that the fight against the F-16s was not actually that great because of one of the big shortcomings of the F-35, that it can't carry that much weaponry. Can only carry 8 missiles, and it turned out that it took actually more than 8 missiles for us to, or it took 8 missiles to shoot down a single plane. Right, so that's not a great result, so let's try to make more use of their stealth capability. The other thing that we are trying to do is we are very soon going to assemble from the Indian ship Vikramaditya. Someday I'm going to be able to do that. We are going to survive a carrier strike group, so we are going to try to carry out an airstrike with these AS-17 Kryptons over here. These anti-ship, air-launched, long-range, hypersonic, liquid-fueled ramjet, passive radar, anti-radar mission missile. So these guys are you actually only capable to target radars? You are. Well, that's interesting. That's a very interesting... I had read that slightly differently, but that is a very interesting loadout. Are we actually able to select any different layout? Yeah, we could. FAPS, so that's probably just free-fall bombs, yeah? Yeah, general purpose free-fall bomb with an explosive filler. So we could carpet bomb some people. There's also some frag or cluster grenades. That's interesting, but I don't think So that would be layouts that are mostly capable against enemy ground forces. Yeah, and 57mm guns. The TV missile here is probably, or TV bomb is probably a little bit more interesting because it has very low hit radius, so it's very accurate. Sand-off electrocable guided bomb with an explosive filler. But it doesn't have a lot of range, just 2 miles, because it's still a free fall bomb. Now I think the AS-17 is going to be the most, the best weapon that we can muster up over here. Oh, there are different layouts though. What we're looking at here is the C variant. What's the A variant? Is that also radar? You'd be capable of being targeted against enemy ships. Interesting. Now, the enemies do emit radar signatures. You can see they had their radar on about 3 seconds ago, so we might actually be fine with this layout, though I'm wondering whether we should shift anything. How long would it take to arm you differently? 6 hours. Well, that's too long. No, I think what we're going to do is launch an airstrike as we can right now, and just go for it, and just hope to disable their radar installations. We could, of course, also with these guys actually target these anti-air installations over here, but I don't think that's a very worthwhile endeavor. Right, let's accelerate time somewhat, just to see whether our F-35s will be capable of coming up behind here, and of course whether our strikes over here are going to be successful. Right. By the way, you can ignore this switch side to India, okay? That's just simply because I loaded up the game. Right, so we should have a couple of helicopters coming up over here just to illuminate our targets a little bit better. There are these frigates, and they are a threat to us. They are not very good at defending, but they are probably still capable of firing anti-submarine warfare? No, that's... yeah, that's more of a threat. But it's not that much. 8 missiles per ship. It's a threat, but I'm still mostly worried about the Perry class. Ship over here, where is it? That's not it. That's it. We'll have to see whether that will be a bigger threat going forward. There are a lot of lines over here, and you know what? I think what we should do is turn off these surface sensors. And that should make it a little bit clearer. We might actually also want to turn off the... because right now we know that there's not going to be any surface engagement. So we can turn off that. So that leaves us with the white circles. And this is the air detection range. And the reddish circle, so this light red circle, which is the air engagement range. So the distance at which we can fire or be fired upon. And we can see that these F-16s have a very high range. But surprisingly enough, these ships here are very vulnerable. At least they don't have any standoff defense against enemy aircraft. Can accelerate somewhat over here. Oh, there is a helicopter over here. Interesting. That's an anti-submarine warfare, and we detected that by the emissions. That's also very interesting, because that means these guys over here, you are somewhat heading towards enemy territory. I think you're only capable of targeting airplanes, right? Aircraft. Although it would feel a little bit like a waste just to send an AIM-120 on an enemy helicopter. But yeah, these guys do have some capability of defending. Entering submarine warfare helicopter, you have layout of torpedoes, as is to be expected. But you do actually only have 1 torpedo. Interesting. Very good speed though. Just 1 very light white torpedo. What's the sensors? Yeah, you have a dipping sonar. 1960s technologies. incredibly bad. Incredibly bad. We might just be able to take these guys out with our submarines. Let's get a little bit over here, just so we might intercept them a little bit better. There we go. So the AI, so they actually shot at our missile, at our Tomahawk. Okay, with an AI M120, with an MRAM. Interesting. Let's keep an eye on these aircraft. It's been a while since we really spotted them. And that Tomahawk was probably aimed at the refinery over here. I'm still somewhat hopeful for these two to hit their radar installation targets over here, although this one might actually protect. What's the engagement range over here actually? So you have an early con gun range, yes. Do you have a maximum altitude at which you could engage someone? You have a range of 1.5 miles. Doesn't look like you have a height. Okay, so there we go. That's probably the Sizzler. Yeah, the Sizzler was attacked as well, and you can see, yeah, these slow traveling guns really, they're no match. They really aren't a match for modern ship defenses, and the Perry class certainly has that. But again, it was an AI M100C, so it was probably actually the F-16 who fired that. We have the Turbine Island over here, another surveillance craft, crew of 4, just with a radar. It's not a critical weapon system. It's still annoying to have it. So I would like to shoot this guy down, but I would even more like to shoot this guy down, because yeah, that's a crew of 8. It has a lot more sensors, including a very advanced very advanced. It's a more advanced system in its entirety compared to this guy. Yeah, 1980s technology. Still, this over here seems like a valid target to me, and it just disappeared. Yeah, there's some significant uncertainty to where exactly these planes are. But they seem to be around these ships. It's a little bit unfortunate. I would rather have you come up way over here. Let's look at this flight. It still has fuel for about an hour or 400 miles to go. That I find very encouraging before it actually needs to return to base. So it has more fuel than that, of course. 2 F-16s, the Islander, the F-27, and then we have this stuff over here. That's fine, so I think we can try to bypass this and just come back afterwards and maybe engage them. But I really don't want to be engaged by anyone over here. These ships are doing fine, the island is still there. We're losing the contact to a couple of F-16s. That's slightly unfortunate. You are giving us a better positioning now though, and this guy is on its way. How long can you be on station? Actually very long. So you know what, I think it's time for this guy to launch all of these guys, and we are going to launch them as a group. There's no reason to keep you any different. You're being readied and taking off, and then everyone else will come up one after the other behind you. So it's going to take about 4 minutes or so for these guys to all get airborne. Probably a little bit longer, 5 minutes maybe. This Tomahawk is very soon going to probably hit this target. Hopefully. I would not like to be disappointed. there's the sound of the first aircraft taking off over here. And you can still see the issue with some of these things. So this carrier group has a lot of helicopters that are working to protect it. This one really doesn't. It only has a single helicopter. There we go. We should see the strike group over here now. It has already 8. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, we can come up over here. Whoop. Stop. Okay, so our F-35s apparently decided to launch something. What did you launch? You are launching on this strike craft. You know what? I really don't want you to do that, because that way this missile is just gonna fly straight through the air engagement range of these guys, and it might just be shot down. So I would actually like you to hold your weapons. So how do I do that? Inherited tight, manual only, yeah. Okay, so here we go. So one missile is in the air, and it will tell them that we are here. I also think that the engagement window over here is not entirely great actually, but we'll see whether that will be sufficient for this guy to come about. But first off, I think this one will probably hit first, hopefully. Yes! That looked like a very good hit. Penetration achieved. That rated is down. And now we see this guy coming up on this aircraft and actually destroying it. And here we can see that actually a high deflection impact, no impact on agility, so 45 probability of hitting, and we did hit. So that's very nice to see. Very happy about that result. The turbine is landed over here. Whoop. Here is another helicopter. Right where we are. It's very close, and it's actually day, so you know what? You guys need to come up a little bit more towards over there, because I don't want to be spotted by a helicopter. This guy, we should probably launch a couple of fighters as well. So let's go ahead and launch these two guys as a group, and you'll be able to protect us a little bit. Because the F-35s from Queen Elizabeth, the strike craft, these 4 guys, we're waiting for them. We're waiting for night because they don't want to attack during the day in a high sensitive mission. But these guys will be ready in only about more than 2 hours. Vikrin should carry a couple of MiG-28s as well. Yeah, you're right. But let's get at least 2 in the air, just so we are safe from any surprises. Right, and you can come over here. Take down this, I think, Chinese surveillance aircraft. An Antonov A-12, Chinese services, yeah, and it's carrying a huge radar dish. We have found a new potential hostile. Boogie. Ooh. What are you? What do we know about you? We know nothing. So what has... How was it detected? It was detected by the search water. So it's just a radar signature. But you know what? With 90 knots, a very high profile. That is probably... I think this is probably an enemy. What was that? Oh, okay. Destroyed that radar installation as well. That's very good news, actually. Yeah, but I'm willing to bet this is an enemy enemy surveillance aircraft. I'm very much liking the deep strike mission of this guy. And ideally I would like to do something about these. So let's send up these MiG-29s. It's over here. And they should be able to do that. Right. Let's accelerate time somewhat. Not too much. I find a lot of things just happen if you turn that to that type of acceleration. Right, you know, you need to come up over here just to intercept these guys. You still have about 30 minutes till you're bingoing. So we need to be a little bit careful so that they don't just zig through an enemy anti-air coverage field. And I'm a little bit hesitant because I think at any time F-16s might launch from these bases. Right, you should be coming up over here. And you guys with the F-35s come up a little bit towards over here. I think that would be nice. Yeah, lots of anti-air installations. So I really don't want to attack that, but I do want to take this guy. What do we know about you? So now. Yeah, there we go. Another aircraft. Yeah, it's another... Okay, so it's probably because we shot down one of these guys. I think they're replacing that with another one, which is fine. I mean, I don't mind that. I'm well positioned to intercept it, so that's good. You'll probably catch this guy because he's fairly slow. You should definitely be able to catch that. You carrying... Just compare the amount of stuff that these guys are carrying to what the F-35 is carrying. Right, you will be able to catch him for sure. We don't need to actually be too quick about that because I probably would like to take this one. So, you know what? You can actually go to loiter speed. It's barely faster than this guy, but we don't need to be. Right, you gentlemen, on the other hand, could maybe go to military speed. A little bit faster. Because these guys are fine threatening. And likewise, you know what? You could go... Be a little bit more assertive. Maybe be a little bit faster. Just maybe try to intercept these guys. 18 knots, you're going 8. Yeah, so probably you might even not be able to intercept them. But we'll have to see. Right, it's getting exciting over here. Yeah, I think very soon you should be able to launch. But there are more aircraft in the air, and I think that's probably going to be F-16s. We have to see. Yeah, it is. Probably launch from this airfield. They're not even that close. Probably wait a second over here just to make sure that this guy can't run away from our missile. Because probably he'll be able to spot that very quickly. Is there any particular way how we want to attack this group? No, I don't think so. New contact, mobile, classification, what's that? Okay, so it's probably... I would guess more anti-air guns. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, and just more over there. Which is fine, I mean this airfield is guarded and we kind of knew that. And I don't think it's prudent to attack these airfields deep inland. The question is, do we want to get over here and attack this guy? Or do we just want to come home? Or do we even maybe want to double off on the F-16s? Although that I feel is incredibly risky, being so deep in enemy lines. Alright, let's send off one of our missiles over here. That should give us a little bit more time as well. Simply because we are carrying less weight and less drag on the airframe. So that should save some fuel. I think, you know, one missile is likely to be enough to take down a big aircraft like this. How many people are actually on board? 6. Oh well. But this is definitely one of their better radar systems. Yeah, see, it has spotted the missile already. It's trying to do evasive maneuvers. But it's basically an airliner. So yeah, you know what? What are you doing? Stop. Why are you returning to base? Why are you returning to base? Don't do that. Please go on cruise speed. Do not. You have 24 minutes left. That's really curious. Right, that being said, these were very nice doings, to be honest, by the F-35. Very happy to see that effect. Trying to outrun the F-35s over here. But we do still have fuel, so I think it might make sense to actually go for this surveillance aircraft here again. We might also just want to loiter over here because we know, or at least we've been instructed, that there is a civilian aircraft that might be coming about just for us. Right, we do have this helicopter. You are actually fairly fine. You're at max altitude. You are at cruise speed. You know what? You can go to Hoover. Actually, if that uses less fuel. Right, that's very good. So next time I think we'll be able to take these guys. Do we know anything more about you? We do not, but it is in helicopter. That much I know. You're surprisingly low, I have to say. Yeah, but these guys will probably make short work of that. We are gonna get over here, try to see if we can snipe any helicopters. I don't want to engage the F-16s because they do outrange us. We have seen that, and it was a little bit of a hard lesson for us. So we might still want to attack the naval base over here with some more Tomahawks. But I think rather before we do that, I would like to engage these ships at least, so that we can make sure that these are not in the way and accidentally able to shoot down all of our missiles again. Right, until then, I think this is a very nice place to put in a cut. So thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.